In the dimly lit hallways of Manhattan General Hospital, Dr. Evelyn Mosley has been patching up the wounded and piecing together broken lives for years. But tonight, an inexplicable case died in her ward, the case of Mr. Albus Salix. He's a crucial figure in time. Mr. Albus Salix was murdered tonight, but you must change the timeline so he can live. You are time-shifting to the location where he was found stuporous and dying. It is your task to investigate the circumstances of his death and then relay your medical assessments through backwards informational timeshift to his treating physician. Each transmission of medical care recommendations, such as diagnosis and management, will shift the timeline. The doctor left a diary recording. Listen to it and then investigate the scene.
I had a patient this morning I'll remember until the end of time. His eyes, once filled with dreams of a better life, now stare blankly into the abyss. I've never seen a fever claim a life so quickly. The medics found him down in a filthy hotel room, mumbling nonsense about the next world. A grim prognosis. Each breath came so rapidly, panting like a mad animal, matched only by the cacophony of his restless pulse. The aroma of fresh mint leaves mingled with the heady scent of whiskey and cigarette smoke, creating an intoxicating bouquet that lingered in the air of our emergency department like a whispered secret. I wish I knew, what was this minty poison that claimed his life?
Left-click on an object to interact with it. This might let you pick it up, use it, or activate something. Right-click on an object to learn about it. You'll get useful information, descriptions, or hints. Try clicking around to explore and discover more. To use the control panel on a time train, input the specific values into the interface. Once the time shift checklist is complete, the time travel sequence will initiate. Slide past the shadows, keeping your footsteps soft as whispers, and look for the beaten-up chest of drawers in the hotel lounge. There you'll find a radio. Tune in for your next instructions. The hotel lounge was a shady refuge where worn-out furniture lay on a sticky floor. The place was eerily silent, yet in silence, hidden clues flourish. was 1943 and the world was on fire. War had swallowed the streets whole, but in a tiny lab, Dr. Willem Kolff was fighting a different battle. A battle against time, against poison, against the body's own betrayal. The first hemodialysis machine wasn't built for glory. It wasn't built in a state-of-the-art lab. No, this thing was slapped together with whatever Kolff could scrounge up in the middle of a wartime scarcity. A tin can, sausage casings, a washing machine pump. Yeah, you heard me right. He wasn't just building a machine, he was building a lifeline, and it had to work, even if it looked like a crazy idea cooked up in a basement. They called it a rotating drum. It didn't look like much, just a few feet of tubing wrapped around a drum that spun slowly, submerging itself in a salt solution. Blood would snake its way through the tubes, trying to dodge death as Kolff's machine did its best to filter out the bad stuff, the toxins that were clogging up the system. But this wasn't just about blood. It was about the principle, the idea that maybe, just maybe, a machine could do what the kidneys couldn't. Kolff was no stranger to desperation. He watched patients slip away, their bodies poisoned by their own waste, kidneys failing like a bad hand in a rigged game. He was sick of losing, but that's why he built the machine. It wasn't perfect. Hell, most of his early patients didn't make it. But the machine worked. Slowly, painfully, but it worked. And that first success, it was a taste of something that felt a lot like hope. The key, tarnished and cold, dangled from a worn brass tag, promising revelations behind a shadowed door in the heart of the dingy hotel. The hotel room was dimly lit, the flicker of a single lamp casting long shadows on the peeling wallpaper. A half-empty glass of something sinister sat on the nightstand, as if waiting for someone who had already disappeared. It all begins with a seductive whisper from a little glass cup. Mint tea, promising relief from life's throbbing pains. But the promise comes at a cost, a Faustian bargain buried within its chemical core. Cold brass hotel room key glinted amongst the trash, a silent promise of mysteries waiting behind a door that should have stayed locked. The air was thick with the scent of cheap flowers and homicide. In the corner, a drawer left ajar reflected the room's secrets, jagged and dangerous.
Your selection did not shift the timeline. Try again. Your selection did not shift the timeline. Try again. Your selection did not shift the timeline. Try again.
Incredible, just incredible. Your message through the time phone was correct and shifted the timeline. Dr. Mosley's recording is different now. Listen.
I walked out of the emergency department amidst the dim glow of neon lights and the wail of our ambulance, perseverating on what could have been. I had a moment of brilliance and diagnosed salicylate poisoning based on my keen sense of smell and diagnostic acumen. I recognized the delirious, crazed heartbeat and tachypnea in a man overly pungent with the stench of mint. The smell, oil of wintergreen, containing a deadly concentration of salicylates. But making the diagnosis was not enough. He became so confused before he died, and I administered a calming dose of diazepam, but the sedation made things worse. Within an hour, he left this earth, and I am left to contemplate paths unchosen. What compound should I have given instead? This decision carried weight.
You have shifted the timeline, but the binary outcome of life or death is unchanged. Input the 4-digit molecular weight of the medicine this patient should have received instead of diazepam. In the dim center of the room,